it really depends on several things. First of all, the how long this war is going to last, whether we're going to see, especially from the Ukrainian perspective, going to see a pickup in planting and also thereby increased sales of corn and wheat and other food commodities this autumn, and also obviously with Russia, whether we are going to see sanctions being lifted if we get a peaceful solution. I doubt that's going to happen. I doubt that very much. I think the correlation or the relationship with Russia, and especially the government, has broken down completely. There's a lot of mistrust now, so that situation is going to be lasting probably longer than unfortunately that we may hope at this point in time. So what can give? I have to remind that the best cure for high price is a high price. The higher the price, the bigger the impact on demand in a negative sense, and the bigger the impact potentially on production. So I think at this point, what will stabilize prices is the prospect of global growth slowing down. And we're seeing that already now with the interest rates on the rise, inflation starting to bite. We are having less money in our pocket to spend, and that will eventually, or that is already having a negative impact on growth, and that will eventually help support balance the markets. But we have to remember as well, we have other issues. We have government spending probably going to set in, especially in China. We have the green transformation, which requires a lot of metal. So I think the outlook is still elevated prices. Hopefully not to the extent that we saw during the first quarter, which was a record quarter for commodities. We never seen a quarter with rises to that aggressive, but I think the underlying price support will remain because supply is also struggling to keep up.
What are the other factors? You've mentioned a lot of factors that will actually influence the prices on commodity markets, and of course not only on commodity markets, but what are the other factors? And I'm thinking, for instance, you mentioned China about a possible supply chain problems. When we look at Shanghai, there are dozens, maybe hundreds of ships that are waiting for loading and unloading because of the COVID situation. So what is it that you actually follow as well?
That one is most certainly an important follow, and probably the reason why we are not seeing oil prices trade any higher at this point, because I've seen reports potentially saying that up towards 2 million barrels of crude oil is being consumed less right now on a daily basis in China. We have to assume, obviously, that the COVID situation will be, just like we experienced when we had our lockdowns here in Europe, that they will be temporary, and there will be a response when we see the reopening. That response will lead to increased support from the government. But you're absolutely right. In the short term, we will see over the coming weeks and months supply chain disruptions once again, because goods are not reaching China, and goods, especially the other way, goods are not leaving China, some of the main ports right now, and that will have another impact. And again, that can only lead to either factories not being able to produce, or factories being forced to put up prices because of scarcity of supply. So that just adds, in the short term at least, to the inflation story, which is one that doesn't really want to go away, and one that will continue to have an impact on several key commodities.